Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this emergency opinions video. And we really don't do these, but honestly, it's very rare to see a reaction like what we're seeing right now. I think, I'd compare it to the We Want Cody thing, or I would compare it to CM Punk returning. It just seems like everyone is talking about this and everyone has got an opinion on this, and it really has kicked up the dust. I mean, if this was intended to throw shade at WWE or make Punk look, incompetent or devalue him, this is backfired, right? This is massively backfired. But if the intention was to be spoken about and just literally get some attention, maybe get a bump in the ratings for 1 week, then maybe this succeeded, right? So it really depends on what they were aiming for, right? But that's my thoughts, and obviously we'll get the ratings out later today, and that's going to give us a big indicator as to whether they got anything from this. Because honestly, if the ratings come out and they're still atrocious, then, we really do need to ask what was the point. But that's my thoughts. Let's get to your thoughts. Let's start with Dunk. Dunk said Tony Khan has messed up bad. Not AEW, just Tony Khan. He needs to replace him with a real booker. Look what can happen with change. Triple H taking over from Vince. It can work. You have the roster. You have most things in place. As an AEW fan, just please get him, not AEW, gone. So there we go. I love that from Dunk. I think, what I want from this and what I always want from this is just honest opinion, right? If you're an AEW fan, give me your honest thoughts. If you're a WWE fan, give me your honest thoughts. If you're someone that enjoys both, give me your honest thoughts, right? And I feel like that was Dunk giving me his honest thoughts, so appreciate it. Jules said, I think it's sad, and they may lose more people out of the 10 viewers they have each week just because they want to use a man who isn't even in the company to get them views, says Jules. Jules, I've only just seen your profile picture as well. God bless you, my friends. It's me kissing Michael Cole. That was from the WrestleMania kickoff show, wasn't it? I mean, I didn't actually kiss Michael Cole, but here's Dunk again, look. Back for round 2. I hate the tribal stuff. I went with stuff. I just love good wrestling from wherever, and I am a bigger AEW fan than WWE, saying that WWE produced some of the best wrestling I have seen this past weekend, and last night was beyond stupid, totally and utterly uncalled for. Eddie said, look at Tony Schiavone's face. It said it all. AEW in the road of WCW 2000 downfall. If this kind of thing keeps happening again, Tony Khan just doesn't want to be proven wrong and the past go away, thinking he knows what he is doing. But that footage made AEW and Tony Khan look like a jerk. Jay said it was sad, very sad, that they used it for ratings and a story that should have been done right after All In. I live 10 minutes from Jim Cornette and afraid I will see on the news in the morning that he died laughing. Jay, that's very good. That's very good. Frosty said it probably did help AEW in the short term as a way to get more people watching and hope that a few will stick around, but I don't see any long-term benefits coming from it. As for Punk, I doubt the footage actually swayed very many people in either direction. Really good comment. I really like that. And actually, Fightful did a poll, which was just over 24,000 people. So a really good sample size, right? 24,000. And I think it was like 90.5% said this hadn't changed their mind on anything, right? And I think it was like 9.5% said they felt a bit different about something. They didn't specify what, but, you know, they felt different about AEW, or they felt different about Punk, or they felt different about something after. But the vast majority, it just had no effect. It just didn't do anything. So, as you said, I doubt the footage actually swayed many people in either direction. It didn't. Seemingly, it didn't. Right, WWE is the best wrestling show ever, said, I think that Joe shouldn't have got involved. Okay. Well, if he didn't, someone else would. I mean, I think Chris Hero comes running round, doesn't he? Chris Hero seems to be very involved. There's quite a few that do jump in there. But, yeah, Joe was pretty quick on the case. Vento Boxed said it was unnecessary, and it made the opposing company's wrestler look better than your wrestler. That is true, isn't it? You did make another company's wrestler look better than the wrestler that you have under contract. It's funny because I forget that Jack Perry's under contract because he's been shipped off, hasn't he, to Japan. But apparently this is a way they're looking to try and bring him back. So, yeah, good point. AEW flagging everyone tells you all you need to know. It backfired tremendously. Do you know, that's another thing that really upsets people, and understandably, because AEW, when they started, said that they wouldn't do this. You know, they wouldn't do this. This was meant to be for the fans, and you can share clips, and you know, I mean, the whole Don Stevens thing really upset people because it just went against what they said at the start, you know. And now look at this. Now they're taking down this footage, and it's just not the vision of what AEW was meant to be at the start, right? But what I would say was, I think we're long past that now. I think they sort of tried to do something at the start, or promised to do something at the start, say they were going to do something at the start, and then we quite quickly found out that was not what we were going to be getting, right? I mean, this was meant to be sports-based, and, you know, I can find plenty of examples of where it isn't. And they said they wouldn't do this copyright thing, and now, you know, that's what we're seeing. So I think, like, for me personally, I've accepted that this is not the company that we thought we were getting, but it's still just funny to see these reminders, you know, these reminders of where we are. So yeah, you're right. AEW flagging everyone tells you all you need to know. It backfired tremendously. Where's the Rats said it vindicated CM Punk. It buried Jack Perry. It solidified how putrid the books are. It humiliated the Money Muppet. It denigrated... Oh, that's a big word. It denigrated the company. It gave Shivani horrific flashback. It really did. Shivani was in a dark place, wasn't he? He was in a dark place. He was back in Nam. So, yeah. Heel Santa said, I think it wasn't needed, and it honestly made them look worse. Jaden said it was laughable. I like WWE, I like AEW, but last night AEW made themselves look like petty clowns. And it's a shame because they actually have some good talent. But it seems to me Tony Khan only cares about firing shots than putting on a decent show. Patricia said, I'm 50-50 on this because from all angles it looks pretty bad for everyone. From CM Punk, Jack Perry, Tony Khan, Young Bucks. I do love this from Patricia. She's saying, hang on, guys. I'm not sure anyone's coming out of this looking good. See, there's just fire. Everywhere is fire, right? CM Punk, Jack Perry, Tony Khan, Young Bucks, AEW. From the moment Ariel Helwani asked CM Punk those questions, I knew that some drama was coming. Patricia, shout out to you, my friends. JB17 said AEW is too busy worried about one-upping WWE instead of the quality of their show. WWE has the lineage to throw shots because this is the hottest they've been in a decade, while AEW is slowly tearing themselves apart. We Are the Woe Movement said, ridiculous. Tony Khan is digging AEW's grave at this point. Luckily, I don't watch the product. Maybe some clips now and then, but in my opinion, it sucks. Cameron said, to be honest, Punk has already explained the whole incident. AEW tried to show the video and turned it into a story for the Bucks and FTR. But personally, I think it was petty for them to do that. If you saw Tony Schiavone before and after the video, he looked embarrassed and annoyed. Manny said, can you hear the picture? This is my response. Not impressed. Manny said, although personally I can't wait for the return of Jon Moxley and Renee Paquette to WWE. Brendan just said CM Punk, that was it. And I think that's all that needs to be said. Tea Time Danger said CM Punk was telling the truth all along. It's in the video itself. This just makes me not like Tony Khan even more. Logan James said CM Punk is telling the truth and Tony is a joke and beginning of the end of AEW. And this makes AEW look worse and dysfunctional. And I'm hoping for the beginning of Mercedes Moné and Okada to leave or quit AEW. And the Young Bucks just come out and the crowd chant CM Punk. That happened, didn't it? The Bucks came out and the crowd did start chanting CM Punk. Not the whole crowds, but a chunk of the crowd. And the crowd were chanting that as that backstage footage was being shown as well. So yeah, I mean, it's backfired. It's massively backfired. I just want to stress that, like, I didn't put a message out saying, please only diehard WWE fans respond to this, right? I mean, I put a message out talking about, I want your thoughts, your opinions and everything. This is an honest reflection of what we've received, right? I haven't deleted any messages. And this is an honest reflection of what I'm seeing as well. Beyond our community, this is the general consensus, you know? Right, Eric, shout out to you. It said it proved Punk was right, and the reaction from Tony Schiavone was telling. He would know when a mistake is made. Haroldinho said Punk told the truth on a podcast he did a few days ago, and he didn't lie one bit. That video might be the downfall of AEW. Perry started it by saying that thing to the camera. Punk is right. Master Taker said AEW killed their own company. What did the video prove? It proves that Punk is telling the truth. It proves that Perry started this. Morgan said, as a day zero AEW fan, I'm embarrassed. This company had a chance to change the landscape permanently, yet they just keep fingerpoke of dooming themselves. I like that line. They just keep fingerpoke of dooming themselves. It's quite simple, really. We need MJF to save this sinking ship quick smart. At least he called TK out on his shiz. Ricardo said AEW made CM Punk more popular, and it just makes Perry and AEW in general bad. Which, like you text, WWE didn't post the backstage of Rock turning heel because they felt they didn't have to anymore, since all AEW did was set themselves on fire. Yeah, so let me bring some clarity to that. I put a message out just saying, do you think WWE didn't post the behind the scenes footage of WrestleMania 40 like they said they would because they saw the fire that was raging on social media and they just thought, let it burn, let it burn? Because this is, I know I keep saying it, but I'm aware that there will be some AEW diehard fans that are watching this, right? You're welcome. Honestly, you're welcome. Everyone's welcome. But this is an honest reflection of what I am seeing, right? This is an honest reflection of how it seems to have landed. And so I said, do you think WWE didn't put up that behind-the-scenes footage of WrestleMania 40 because WWE are seeing the same thing and they're just thinking, we'll just let this burn. We'll just let this play out as it is because this has gone about as good as it could go for us. I think it feels like that documentary was intended to be a distraction. They didn't need it. Challenger Dark said, I just can't believe a major company would do something like this. This 1000% proves that CM Punk's point. They're not here to make money and run like a respectable business. They are a modern day WCW, except run by a much richer family. WWE Ethan said, I thought it was an interesting idea to do what they did, but now looking at it, it is sort of stupid from the way it seemed like they were painting CM Punk as the bad guy, but he really wasn't. Ospreay's comments were unnecessary as well. That's worth a mention, isn't it? So I do like that comment from WWE Ethan. I like the fact he thought, oh, this could be interesting, right? To play this footage. And now having seen it, he's thinking, don't think it's worked, right? He says that trying to paint CM Punk as the bad guy is just not going to land. I agree with you, right? And Ospreay's comments were unnecessary as well. So if you didn't see those, Will Ospreay took some shots back at Triple H. He says, like, don't question the grind that I put in, especially when you're only in the position you are because you were grinding on the boss's daughter, right? So those were Ospreay's comments. And you could see Renee Paquette looking all uncomfortable. She did her best Tony Schiavone impression. So, yeah, I mean, we did learn this from the Attitude Era, and we have spoke about this on streams and stuff. Tony Schiavone gave away that result for Mankind winning the world title, and like 250,000 people changed the channel to go and watch it. So WWE was taped, and WCW gave the result away. They read it out on air, right? And 250,000 people went and watched it. And so it just completely backfired on them. And this is the risk you run when you focus on some other promotion rather than your own promotion. Yeah. And yeah, I think the comparisons to WCW don't seem unfair. So, Ethan, thank you. Gareth said, what I take from the footage is AEW can't tell a storyline at all. If they want views, they should not have so many other storylines going back and forth. Vectrix said 100% backfired. CM Punk is now an even bigger superstar than he already is. I'm now even more of a fan of Punk. Even Punk's haters are fans now. CM Punk was trending #1 in the world, and WWE will get all of that momentum. It did nothing but hurt AEW. Just look at Tony Schiavone's face. Vamphy said it didn't benefit no one. In my opinion, it was better left unseen. Yes, it was for storyline, but still. If they want more eyes on the product, focus on your own product and current talents aligned within the company. Tristan said AEW is doomed by what was the biggest and best return in wrestling industry. What they thought would be their beacon to beat in WWE became the beacon of their failure. Oh, and Tony Khan. I really like that. Oh yeah, and Tony Khan is an issue as well. Pro Wrestling News said, I don't understand what AEW achieved by doing this, because CM Punk has already admitted that he choked Jack Perry. He didn't deny that. This type of showing backstage footage on the show is such a childish thing, in my opinion. I think AEW's plan backfired. Punk became more popular because of this. James Grant said this 100% backfired. This didn't help for the better of the company. You could tell Taz and Tony Schiavone was not happy about the footage being shown on live TV. Also, showing Punk not going for Tony Khan shows that Tony Khan made a blatant lie on TV. Well, that's interesting, actually, because I read that they weren't showing the footage of Tony fearing for his life. So I don't know that we saw that bit, right? I heard beforehand they weren't showing that bit. They were just going to show the Jack Perry CM Punk bit, right? So there may be more that we haven't seen, right? But I genuinely don't know. That moment where Punk, like, you can't see Tony because Tony and the producers are sort of sat back a bit and you can't see. There is a bit where Punk kind of goes over and quite aggressively, right? I would say aggressively. He doesn't go over all calm, does he? Like, he's really, like, animated, is, like, saying something to Tony. Now, that, in my opinion, would not be enough for me if I was Tony to be fearing for my life, okay? So I really don't think what we've seen there would warrant those comments unless there is more footage. And benefit of the doubt, I'm going to say there is more footage and that isn't it. But I genuinely don't know. If it turns out that was it, then, well, that's a whole nother conversation, isn't it? That James rightfully points out. That's a whole nother conversation. You know, where is the show that next? If they get great ratings for this week's show, right? Let's say they do, I don't know, 900,000, 950, 1 million views because people really wanted to see this footage, right? Show the fearing for the life stuff next week. We'll just keep showing different elements of this backstage footage. That's all we'll do going forward. Just backstage footage of CM Punk. Just even CM Punk just sitting around having a sandwich. Probably still do better ratings, wouldn't it? Mitchell said, I don't know what they were hoping to gain by doing this. Anti-Punk fans already think he's a fraud, and pro-Punk fans think he's in the right. This was nothing more than a petty attempt at a gotcha moment towards Punk and a ratings grab mixed together. Right, Rico said, it wasn't quite the rampage, pun intended, as I thought it would be. AEW seems to not like tribalism while also using it as a business model. That's a really good point. I wonder how Edge felt about this, considering he told us that tribalism was dead. If Punk is at home, there would be no reason to release the footage, but he's back in WWE. I still don't care for Punk. 2 GTSs out of 10. Rico, shout out to you. Amy said, big yawn. I don't generally wish AEW bad, but I hope this flops as hard as I think it will. Thumbs down. Red Ring Wrestling said, backfiring for sure. That kind of stuff can happen in sports. Any guy knows that occasionally happens. AEW looks weak and kind of confirms Cornette's claims that they are cosplay wrestling. Look at this. Red Ring Wrestling, thank you. Sam said, I think AEW did themselves in and I'm here for it. So there's CM Punk with the urn and AEW logo. That's clever. That's good. AJ said, it was a miserable attempt to draw attention. Man, what a shame. That was pathetic, and I love AEW. Aubrey said, I'll just screenshot this comment I made to Mitchell, the tribal chief denier, the other day. Technically 2 comments, but nothing's changed. Right, okay. Exactly. There's literally nothing to gain from this. It's hilariously transparent that this is nothing but a response to the Ariel interview, which they were upset by. It triggered Tony Khan, especially because he already hates Ariel. CM Punk works for someone else now. This means nothing. One more thing. I believe if I were to put myself in the shoes of an AEW talent in the post-CM Punk era, I would still be extremely annoyed, frustrated that we're still talking about this guy instead of building our home backup. My respect for the company would plummet. Do you know what? Dave Meltzer actually said he's been contacted by AEW talent that are frustrated. That it was shown. And don't think it's going to help the company. So your comments rings true. Mr. Unfamiliar said the fact that they are now copyright striking all the footage. Good luck copyright striking this video, hey? You watching? Don Stevens, Tony Khan. Go on, copyright strike this video, you cowards. The fact they are now copyright striking all the footage off of Twitter and YouTube says it all, doesn't it? I just wish I could see CM Punk and Triple H's faces watching AEW put them over and get Punk trending for free. Mr. Unfamiliar, shout out to you. Dean Parker said, I don't think it's a good idea just for a storyline. I don't think it's necessary, and it makes it look like they just released it because of what Punk said. Michael said, could this all be a work? What do you mean by a work? Like the fight didn't really happen? But I don't know how this would be a work, but I mean, CM Punk has definitely left and he's definitely in WWE. So, you know, that backstage incident isn't fake. You know, they've lost Punk as a result for real. And they really could have done with him since he went last year. So I can't see how this could be any sort of work. Deadman Talking said, if AEW fails, this moment is the Fingerpoke of Doom moment. I hope they can get right the ship, but we'll see. I really don't want to see a WWE product return to that pre-AEW rubbish. I changed the word. We eating goods, and I want wrestling to get better, not worse. Tony Khan needs to hire someone to fix it. Wrestling Pandemonium said this footage did nothing for AEW and made Tony Khan look desperate. AEW and Tony are sinking bad, and he knows it, especially after how amazing WWE did this past weekend. It's time to say goodbye to AEW. Tony is single-handedly ruining his own company. Money won't fix this. Tall Guy said, I tuned into Tommy and his hilarious. Yeah, Tommy Toy Travels did the watch along, and yeah, he's great. He's awesome. His watch alongs are always fun. I think there was a real good turnout for this one as well, of course. You know, the interest in this was, oh man, monumental. Absolutely monumental. So, yeah, I'm glad you had a good time. Harry said, I hope you're well, mate. Sunny day over here in almighty Corby. Can't complain. This shows that Punk isn't a liar. He said what he did, and nothing else seemingly took place from what he originally stated. I may be going to All In this year. Wonder what the chants will be like. I don't know. I don't know how the crowd's going to react. I really don't. I really don't know how the crowd's going to react. I mean, I think you just move on from this now, don't you? I don't think you mention this. It happened. I feel like it was a ratings grab. Let's see what the ratings come out as, and if it's worked, and we just move on from it. So, don't know. Darius Fan said, Will Ospreay has blown any opportunity at making it in WWE. He is going to be stuck in the League 2 of professional wrestling forever. Well, I would say Cody broke the throne. I suppose the only thing is, though, that Triple H knew Cody. He knew Cody before Cody left, and he sort of kept an eye on him. And like Triple H obviously had a great relationship with Dusty Rhodes. Cody is Dusty's son. I'd imagine Triple H wanted to do right by Dusty. You know, a lot of people were worried when Cody came back that Triple H would just bury him. But I don't know if they forgot that he was Dusty's son and that Dusty worked with Triple H in NXT very closely. You know, I could imagine that Triple H wanted to do right by Dusty, if nothing else. So, yeah, Will Ospreay hasn't got that, has he? He hasn't got that. So even though Cody broke the throne and went back to WWE, there may be other factors which helped, which Ospreay doesn't have. So interesting. Good point. Logan James said, Daze, hello again. I'm hoping to see CM Punk in WWE Raw next week. I'm excited, and WWE fans should chant CM Punk. Wrestling Pandemonium said this was the final nail in AEW's coffin. The superstars need out of their contracts. Kian said it has definitely backfired. I still have zero interest in AEW, and all it did was make Tony Khan look like a complete, what is The Rock's phrasing? Walking clown emoji. Literally did nothing to help him. Like, remember when Braun tried to kill Roman by pulling the scaffolding on him? Yes. Mainly Chaos said, ridiculous, because of the Ariel Hawani interview and an ego trip for Tony. All for what? Ratings. This is going to 100% backfire. Even the fans in the arena were chanting CM Punk. I wonder what Cage Match says about it, because that's all that matters to Mr. Khan. Well, the Cage Match rating is not good. It's like 3.7 out of 10 was the last I saw. I think Master Taker sent that over, actually. Edward said, I think the audio not being played on the show hurts CM Punk and makes him look bad. And if there was audio evidence, CM Punk would look like he's in the right. So I don't know that it even picks up the audio, to be honest. I mean, CCTV doesn't tend to pick up audio. So like CCTV in a shop, for example. So I don't know that there was any audio to be played, but that's interesting. You think that it makes CM Punk look bad, and if there was audio, it would make him look better. Chris said, my main takeaway from the CM Punk drama, if AEW wanted ratings, they should just take Eric Bischoff's advice and get better at storytelling. This was my first time watching AEW in full, and there's no way I'd be a consistent viewer. They'd rather take shots than fix the product. Marvin, Movie Monster, shout out to you, said, I think Tony Schiavone is about fed up. He was, man. He really was. Right, Delboy said, some people in AEW really should be embarrassed to work for such a bad joke of a company. CM Punk is telling the truth. He already explained what happened a few days ago. Why would they do this? Pathetic on live TV. They should focus on other important things. Every single AEW staff member, Tony and himself and talent should be ashamed. They haven't made any changes and none of their fans are impressed. And don't even get me started on the low TV ratings. It's really killing the business. This truly feels like WCW before it fell. I'm just glad I'm not watching that shiz company. And then we've got Hunter, Hurst, Helmsley, looking absolutely disgusting. It's a great clip, that is. Love that. Great clip. Right. I don't think we've got many left. So King Sympathy said, I don't think AEW realizes this, but they just made CM Punk a lot more popular with that footage, because all the footage got was cheers because of Punk. Tony Khan is just ruining his own show at this point. MSC said, I learned Punk was telling the truth and that even fans there were saying it while it was being shown, like WTF. Tony Khan just made Punk even more popular. Gio the Theo said the AEW WWE feud makes excellent TV and has forced both companies to step up their game to create a more entertaining show, which is great for both of them. However, the way AEW is doing it by taking shots at them every show for cheap pops is sometimes sad and could make fans turn on them. Gio the Theo, thank you. And then we've got this one here. Look, Ricardo said, just wanted to show you this and say I love watching all your vids. Keep it up. It sucks I'm busy during Raw and SmackDown, but when I got to work, I love watching and listening to the live streams. Please say you're going to upload another video soon. I'm at work, bored. So there we go. The Bucks shooting AEW and then saying, why would CM Punk do this? And I responded, thanks, buds. Very, very kind, Ricardo. I really, really appreciate it, my friend. Really appreciate it. Should we have a look, see if we've got any quote tweets that might be? No, there is not. There is not. So that is it. I mean, look, I understand there may be some people watching this, quite a few maybe, that think that I've just cherry picked these comments, right? Or that we've got like a super negative community. The only thing I can say is that this is an honest reflection of what I'm seeing on social media. Even Dave Meltzer has come out and said this hasn't worked, right? Everywhere I'm looking, all the big major accounts that I follow are saying the exact same thing. This wasn't a good idea. This hasn't worked, right? So people have just been left scratching their heads on this one. I think, and I keep saying it, but I think if this was a ratings grab, it's desperate. But, you know, they could be in a desperate situation where they have to do something desperate now because they brought in Mercedes Moné and it didn't work. They brought in Okada, it didn't work. They brought in Ospreay, it didn't work. Like, they are trying, but it's not working. So they could be at the point where they have to do something desperate. So I'm not sure if this was meant to be a knock of CM Punk. I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't tell because how could it be? How could they look at the footage and think this was going to make Punk look bad? It just makes him look like a badass. Just makes him look so cool. I'm thinking they did this because they just thought people will tune in because they want to see it. And let's get the rating. Let's try and create some buzz. And, you know, hopefully we can build on that, you know. So the rating when it comes out later, that is going to be, honestly, I can't wait to see what that number is. If that's going to come out as a 700 and some thousand again, you know, it needs to be in the 800,000 range. Because if it's in the 700,000 range, then what can they do? They've now shown backstage footage, right, of an incident that people really wanted to see. And if the rating comes out flat again, then I can't tell you of any benefit that this has had. No, I can't. I wouldn't be able to tell you of any reason why this was worth doing so. It's going to be very interesting to see what that rating is. And that's it. An emergency opinions video. I think the message was pretty loud and clear. It's not landed, but as we said, we'll see what that rating is. Right, thanks a lot for watching. Really appreciate the support, and you know that. Obviously, we'll be back later with another Unseen. And, of course, we've got SmackDown live stream tomorrow as well. So, thanks for watching. Bye for now.